great to be with everyone this week. Happy freaking New Year. We are in 2023. As a kid, I grew up in more of a spiritual environment and, about the rapture and apocalypse. And never thought I'd make it to 2023. That's how long into the future I think. But we're here. This is the year 2023. And really excited to be with you all today. Wanted to just get started with some wins. I have a picture of the Team Eklund. They're an HVAC business I work with here near Tulsa, based in Owasso, and they hit over $3 million this year, and it was the first of them. They've been in business for 12 years now, and it was the first time that they hit over 3 million. The owners, which is Kim, this is an old picture. They'd be so mad at me, mainly Kim, if they find out I was using an old picture. But we've got Kim right here in the center, and her husband Will. They're the owners. And I was just talking to them today about something we're going to be talking a little bit about. Is just having the right mindset. We work with a lot of clients, and the ones that really become our success stories are those with the right mindset. And I'm reminded of a quote by Chet Holmes. This is the guy who wrote the book Ultimate Sales Machine. He's the guy who invented the Dream 100 system. He unfortunately died in his 50s, but was this renowned consultant in the late 90s and 2000s. And he said the number one difference that I see with successful entrepreneurs versus non-successful entrepreneurs is, he calls it a PhD. He's like, the successful entrepreneurs have a PhD, and we're not talking about a degree you can get from a university. He equates PhD to just pig-headed discipline and determination. He said that is the main ingredient that he sees. People, and that's what the Eklunds have. That's what's led them to being in their 12th year of business, operating over $3 million. Over the past 2 years, they've paid off tremendous debt. They had about $250,000 in debt that they've totally paid off, and they're just winning. And so anyway, any other wins that we have from the group? Any other wins, reflecting over this past year, wins that you guys have?
I guess for us, our milestone was we actually busted 2 million. And obviously we do have aspirations to get up to 3, which is a plus for us. We've been in business for quite some time, and we were able to reach that $2 million hurdle.
That's huge.
Yeah. So,
come on.
So that's Roger Patterson, owner of Rogers Plumbing, based in Leander, Texas. He's been in business on his own for 29 years, has been plumbing for 40.
A long time.
Yeah, I don't think he wants me to share that, actually. Sorry. He's been plumbing for a long time, like he said. And but has owned his own business for almost 30 years now. First time to hit 2 million. I just think that's awesome. Roger, it's a joy being on this journey with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. I owe a lot to y'all. Absolutely.
Anyone else? Any other big wins before we move forward here?
Finally bought my first Monopoly piece.
Okay. Kevin, do you want to explain what that means, or?
I bought my first home.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. Okay. Yeah.
Come on.
That's
now
awesome.
You're in the game.
Yeah, that's right.
Figured that was real
Welcome
estate.
to the rat race.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else before we move forward? Wins. 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's move forward here. So today, I have the privilege of talking to you guys along with my dad, our CEO, Tim Redmond. He's going to be talking up front, and then I want to lead everyone through a planning exercise as we're starting this year to really make sure we're focused and even learning how to know what to focus on. I know in business, there's so many moving parts. You're wearing so many hats. It seems like there's a lot of different opportunities or potential opportunities. So I know at some points it's going to be hard to even know what to focus on or know what to be excited. I'm going to be leading everyone through a method of how to really, really get clarity on that. And it's simple, and it just works, and it makes a lot of sense. I would just ask everyone to come with that with an open mind. Don't a lot of times at the end of the year we can get stuck in looking at the things we didn't do, and it can cause us to miss all the abundance that's right in front of us of the things that we were able to accomplish and we were did. So then we'll have some Q&A at the end. But without further ado here, I want to hand it over to my dad, Mr. Tim Redmond.
All right, very good. Hey, let me grab the slide, and we'll get this thing rocking and rolling. Boom. Oops, get this thing going here. All right. Well, so how many of you have started, and I don't know if in recording wise, if we have that on the speaker side by side or not, but how many of you have actually done a year-end planning, or you've done planning for this 2023? Is that something maybe with a thumbs up, or you started doing it? Maybe you've thought about doing it. Maybe you look at it across the street, but we're looking at getting ready for a fantastic year. And we don't talk a whole lot about this, but I think it's so crucial in a lot of the work that I've done over the years, and working with hundreds and even thousands of business owners and talking to people all over the world. And that is your mindset. How your mindset really determines a lot of the outside reality. You think, well, yeah, I'm not into that mind science stuff, or I don't want to, that law of attraction. Well, let's some of the abuses or some of the overemphasis of that, let's put those to the side right now and think about it. If you're convinced, if you are convinced you're going to have an awesome year and you're working towards that, what is your energy level like? Where are you at in terms of when you run into a problem, your propensity to want to solve that thing? When you have a mindset that you're going to win, how quick are you to give up, even if it's going through a really rough challenge here? Or if you say, well, what's the use? I mean, I've got this 2023 year ahead of us. Robert's going to cover some real powerful things to help us really look ahead and really look back both ways here from a powerful, energizing position. But you know what? I don't think, no matter what I do, I'm still going to struggle. No matter what I do, I'm never going to quite make the profits I want. And if you have a mindset, or the way you think about yourself and the world around you, your emotional state or your mindset, or where your mind is set at, to where that's your primary focus. If you are down on yourself and you're not enthusiastic, you'll tend to want to sit down. You'll tend to want to shut up. You'll tend to want to avoid the challenges instead of rising against them. So I don't want to take a long time on this, but I just want to remind you of the power of what you're focused on. And here's a concept I want to bring to you, and that is how you look at something is what it becomes. You think, well, all right, they actually pay you to speak. That's kind of obvious. Well, let's take a moment for a moment. Let's just take a moment and let's become self-aware of where you are and thinking about your business in this year ahead of us. Okay, you're either up or you're down. You're going forward, or you're tentative or apprehensive. And I want you to identify where you're at. And you can actually shift your mindset. And I'm going to talk to you about a real practical way of doing that. And Robert's only going to take about 45 minutes here. So no, just kidding. Just about 10 minutes here. So it's how you look at something is what it becomes. And this is more of an awareness. And I want to ask you, how are you looking at your work? How are you looking at your employees? How are you looking at your business ability, Roger, for you to hit that $3 million mark? Is it 1 year away or 2 years? One of the two, right? Okay, you're going to get there. So how you look at something is what it becomes. If you don't think it's worthwhile, you'll begin to project that thinking it's not worthwhile onto that thing, and you'll begin to look at that as a not a worthwhile for your efforts. Or conversely, you're looking at something and say, I know it seems challenging, but I know I can overcome. I know I'm gonna just see through it, and we're gonna grow this beast. It's gonna begin to serve me in a way instead of me serving it. And when you look at your business that way, you begin to look at it, and it becomes a solvable thing that you can overcome, regardless of the challenge. So I want you just to be aware of how are you looking at your business? How are you looking at 2022? Now, Redmond Growth had a number of challenges. We have these goals, and we just kept resetting, trying different things. We spent a lot of money on things. Some of it didn't work out. But I just reviewed it with Robert today in our executive meeting here, just Robert and I meeting together. And we had a phenomenal year. Even financially, it turned out really well. We've added a lot of benefits to the employees. The employees or the coaches, most of them on the line here. I mean, they are solving problems. They're owning the thing. Like, I can walk away and they are owning it. Robert is owning it, and it's allowing me to go on and begin to expand the business in other ways. And so it's really important about how you look at what you're looking at. And so you think about a good friend of mine, Tom Cruise, he's running into a challenging situation right there. This is not a time to have a negative mindset, right? Okay. And so just wanted to break up the thought here for a little bit, but I want to bring you the reality of this, that your mindset, real simple. You either have one or two there's only two mindsets for you to have. Either you can or you can't. What's your mindset? Either it's impossible or it's possible. One's going to keep you in the game. One's going to get you learning and growing despite the obstacles. You have a relationship with problems that you work on the problems and they work on you, and you both get better. It's a win-win situation. Why not? Or you can have this like, no matter what I do. So either you're incapable or you're capable. When you look at yourself as being capable, you're going to stand up and go for it. You're going to dream big dreams here. I mean, let's get into this situation where we got so many of our clients have gone from a couple $100,000 a year to $2 million a year. We've got people that were barely making a profit, if at all, and now they're making $20,000 and $30,000 and $40,000 a month in profits. I've seen it happen. Either you look at yourself as inadequate or adequate. There's more, there's never enough. There's never enough staff. There's never enough money. There's never enough jobs. There's always enough. You look at that, and it begins to set your eyesight. It begins to affect your mindset, where you begin to solve from that possible mindset, from that capable, adequate, always enough mindset versus this, it's impossible, it's incapable, it's why should we even try? So I really want you guys to take a look at this as you listen to what Robert's talking about. Where you guys are going is really, really important. So the question is, how are you looking at your business? And another good friend of mine, Bill Gates, told me, he said, well, I read it in the quote, okay, but it's like he told me, all right? And if he knew me, he'd probably like me. So, but my good friend Bill Gates, he said, now people tend to underestimate, or they tend to overestimate what they can do in a year, and they tend to underestimate what they can do in 10 years. And I want you guys just to lift the lid on your thinking of where your business can go and who you can become in that business. How are you looking at your business? Another thought here is, when you change your mindset, you're really changing your story. And many of us, we look at the outside world, and our story is describing the outside world. We're conforming to the world around us versus us changing the world around us. making this inside vision come on the outside. I know I was talking for a couple of years about the problem, and even in Redmond Growth, about this back door and the front door, and my story just I kept believing my story, and that was my story. And I've just realized, that this lesson is really for me, and me changing my story of where we're going and how we're growing and the awesome clients we get to serve here. So people say, well, just change your thinking, just change your focus, just change your mindset. You do that very practically by changing your story. People are tired of your worn out, beat up, overwhelmed story that you're telling everybody. Stop it. Stop it. Can I be so bold? We're tired of that. We want to hear a story of victory, even if you don't see it in the outside world. We want to see a story where you're the hero, that you're serving your clients' needs, and you're expanding your reach, and you're expanding your profits. Change your mindset is really changing your story. You've got a phenomenal story ahead of you for 2023. And I want you just to take a moment just to think about what story, if you could imagine it's December 31st, 2023, and you're looking back at this year, and you're telling the story about the business, your business, and what you were able to do with your business, and what your business was enabling you to do. What story do you want to tell? Is it positive? Is it negative? Are you beat up and overwhelmed? Or are you overcoming and learning and getting better as you go? And I love this business. I love the clients. I love just even to be able to see you guys. And I want to challenge you to finish this year with a story that you are proud to speak about, and begin to tell that story right now, today, as you move forward through the month. Robert, that's my thoughts. And
Righty. Well, I appreciate you sharing that. And it's really powerful stuff. I've learned, without going too deep here, that sometimes the most profound truths, whether it's spiritual truths or whether it's a mindset thing, and I kind of see all that as one, is often said in the fewest and simplest words. And I think whatever you look at, it's almost like I'm taking notes here myself. Whatever you look at, the way you look at something is what it becomes. Is a really powerful thought, and I would encourage everyone to actually begin putting that to the test. It will require you to go to war with your own previous ways of thinking that are so naturally dispositioned to buy into whatever story that may be externally going on around you. It really takes an intentional awareness and disruption of changing that story. But I'd really encourage everyone to play with that, even in small ways, even in your daily life, and maybe looking at something that is typically a frustration or a challenge or a difficulty or a relationship, whatever it may be aware of how you're looking at that, maybe change the way you're looking at that, and just watch what begins to happen, and then see how you can apply that principle. The way you look at something is what it becomes to your business, to greater areas of life. And so what I want to do now is I want to talk about a more practical planning method. What I want to do is I want to, here in a minute, I'm going to have everyone go back and look over this past year and look at what's happening right now in their business, then look at the future and create really a plan from that. And we're going to be moving quick. I'm going to ask you guys some questions. I don't know if you guys have a paper or a Google document in front of you or a Word document to write some of this stuff down. I'm going to ask you to write some stuff down for the sake of the exercise. And then I want you guys to take whatever you're able to do from this exercise. I'm not going to have anyone write anything down. I'm not going to have anyone write anything down right now. I want to explain a little bit about what we're going to be doing first. But then I'd like for you guys to take, the key takeaways. I want everyone to have 5 key takeaways. I want everyone to take the key takeaways to their coach in your weekly meeting, and then or on your laser call, to then plan on how you're going to actually implement this in your business to this year. So we're going to be talking about the 3M planning method. And this method was inspired by a guy named Dan Sullivan, who has had a big impact and influence on my dad's life and on his thinking, has now had an impact on my life and my thinking. And he's an author, and he works with tons of business people. He's been doing it for years. He's written over 30 books. His name is Dan Sullivan. And Dan Sullivan, after working with thousands of entrepreneurs, has said that he sees that really successful entrepreneurs all have 3 abilities. The abilities of morale, momentum, and motivation. Morale, momentum, and motivation. Whenever I first heard that, that was kind of an abstract concept. How does these 3 M words tie in together, and how does it relate to business? But we're going to be talking about what those things mean here. And when we're talking about the 3 abilities, okay, what does morale mean? We hear morale, we have morale with the team, morale with the client, morale with the customer. How Dan Sullivan defines morale is someone who has morale is someone that, regardless of the circumstances that they're in, that they're able to maintain a high level of energy. They're able to generate their own energy, focus, and persistence. So that's what we're talking about when we're talking about morale. Great entrepreneurs, the ones that really do well. I'm not talking about the mediocre. I'm talking about the ones that really do well, have this morale ability. They have this focus. They have this ability that even when things are really, really tough, they can still maintain a high level of energy, and they can still be focused and persistent in what they're after. The main way to kill morale for yourself is what we call gap thinking. Gap thinking was inspired by a book by this guy named Dan Sullivan called The Gap and Gain. Recommend that to everybody here. And I think just as American entrepreneurs, we're somehow, it's ingrained in our thinking to think in gap thinking, which what gap thinking is obsessing on how far you have yet to go instead of how far you come. It's looking at, yeah, we made progress, but I'm going back here and looking at all this stuff that we didn't do. And that's where my focus is at. I'm looking at the gap between what I wanted to achieve, the ideal, versus what I actually did. Look at, instead of the gain, which is looking at where we were to what we actually did and how far we've come. So if you want a great way to kill your own morale internally, just focus on all the things that you have yet to accomplish, all the things that you have yet to do, instead of thinking of all the things that you have accomplished, which we all have, regardless of our circumstances. The second M in these 3 M's, and it's going to tie into actual questions I'm going to be asking you guys. I need everyone to write down. Second M is momentum. Okay, so we got morale and now momentum. What is momentum? Momentum is the ability to adjust your focus and your plan in your business to what's really hot or what's really moving right now, to be able to follow what really works. I remember one of the best bits of advice I ever got was from a guy named Roger Brune, who's actually a guy I went to college with, a good friend of mine. His dad's name Roger Brune. And I remember I was graduating from college, and this man, Roger Brune, was at my graduation party. And, I'm kind of going around and, working the room and saying hi to people and all that. And I asked him, I said, so Roger, what advice would you like have for a guy who's just graduating college, just going out in the world, ready to get started on a career? And he kind of paused for a moment and he just looked at me and he just said, follow the fruit. He said, a lot of people have passions in life and they have things and dreams and things like that they want. He's like, I've followed one simple principle. I just follow what's working and continue to do more of that. And then if that's not working, I find the next thing that's working, or in the thing that I was doing, what was maybe a sub thing that was working better than the other main things I was doing. But that's what we're talking about here, is the ability to follow the fruit, be able to notice, hey, what's really hot? Where do I have momentum in my business? What seems to be working well for me right now? And being able to change our plans accordingly. The biggest obstacle, the things that kill momentum, is this concept called rigidity. I don't know about you guys, but I can be a very rigid thinker. What's rigidity? It's the inability to be changed or the inability to adapt. Okay. I can get, do any of you guys get like black and white with your thinking? Like, hey, it's going to be this way or that way, or it's either this way or that way. I can really get rigid in my thinking. I can really, well, this has been the way that we've done it, so we're going to continue to do it. Or this is the only way I know how to do it, so that must be the only way to do it. That can really prevent entrepreneurs from getting momentum in their business, but more importantly, it can prevent entrepreneurs from really even noticing what's working and beginning to follow that. Why? Because we're so rigid in our thinking. We've done things the same way and we're going to continue to do them. No, great entrepreneurs have this ability to have momentum, to look at what's working and follow that. And again, if anyone finds any of this offensive, that's okay. I'm just letting you know what successful entrepreneurs do. And everyone here is capable of learning and adapting in these ways as well. The reason why you're here is because you're seeking growth, And so the last thing that great entrepreneurs have, the last M of the 3 M's, is motivation. And that's a really hot word in entrepreneurship. When people typically talk about motivation, I typically think about, okay, we're going to go, we're going to use all this energy and we're going to do it. We're going to do the thing. And it's like this, I'm able to pump myself up type of idea. What I like about how Dan Sullivan defines it is he defines it not in terms of like an attitude, but he defines it in terms of a mindset. Okay, he says that what motivation really is your ability to have a picture of the future that's bigger and better than what you have right now. In our day-to-day working as business owners, as entrepreneurs, it can get really easy to get just our thinking stuck in the minutia of the whirlwind of the stuff that we're doing on a daily basis, which is why it is so important to really think about and define what is that bigger and better future that I'm working towards that I don't have right now. What is that next thing? And it doesn't always have to be more money. It doesn't always have to be, more Lamborghinis. That's not what I'm talking about here. You could define bigger or better future in any way that you would like. You could define it in terms of a time freedom thing. You can define it in terms of I'd like to open another business or another line of business within my business. It could be I want to, be able to serve, have the gift of serving 10,000 customers, over the next year. Probably if you're a service business, you would do that. But I use those examples just to say it doesn't always have to be this like bigger American image of success. It's just, what does a bigger and better future, what would that mean to you, your wife, your family, your business partner, whoever it may be? What's our bigger and better future? Number one obstacle between that is having no vision, no confidence, and no pride. having no vision of the future, having no confidence that we can get any better than we have now, and having no pride in the work that we do. And so the 3 M's can actually be summarized because like morale, momentum, motivation, for some reason in my mind, that was like a strange connection of ideas. What we're really talking about is pride is morale. You know, we're proud of the work that we've done. We see that we're making a difference. We see that we're moving towards a better future in our daily work. It's confidence. It's, hey, I've got stuff going for me right now. I can learn from this. I can develop more of this. I can find new ideas from what's going on right now. And excitement, that's the motivation. What do I have to look forward to in the future? So what I want to do here real quick is, Bryce, if you could help me out. If you could cue up some like maybe soft jazz music, you know, maybe
Love
some
it. He
classical.
knows.
Yeah, soft jazz. Let's do soft jazz. And Bryce, I don't know if you could get a timer pulled up on Google just for 2 minutes.
Okay.
All right, guys, here comes the writing portion of this. Okay, so everyone have a document or something to write with. I'm going to ask you guys a few questions. And this is going to be our planning exercise. And I'm only going to give you 2 minutes to answer each question. And I very intentionally am only going to give 2 minutes because I really want us, and that may feel frustrating or may feel like I don't have enough time or may feel like I can't think of anything, but I really want to intentionally put everyone in a pressure cooker zone so that we can really just see what immediately rises to the surface with these questions. Okay, so I'm going to start explaining the first question. Bryce, I don't know if we're ready to go. We don't need to start right now. I'll tell everyone when to start. The first question, I'm going to leave it up here so you guys can look at it. This has to do with morale, okay, that first M that we talked about. Looking back over the last year, what achievements am I most proud of in my business? What were the biggest things that we achieved? And I want you to think about it. Don't start yet. But that may be hard for some people to do. You know, maybe you're frustrated with how last year went. Maybe it didn't go as well. But I want you to go as small or as big as you need to and just start writing bullet point after bullet point of achievements, of things that you were able to do looking over the past year, January 2021 to December 2021. What new things, what new people, what new software, what new systems, what new processes, what new pricing. Looking back over the past year, what were the biggest things that you guys achieved? I want us to start time and music now. 2 minutes for everyone to answer that.
All right. Got the time. I'm going to have to take over the screen to share the music.
Oh, we don't. Oh, you do?
Yeah.
I can do music. That's perfect. Just bullet point list, everything. What was I most proud of last year? What did I overcome? What didn't take me out? What did I achieve? Yeah, Bryce has a question in the prompt. How much time we have left, Bryce?
3 seconds. And we're done.
Okay. Pencils down. That can you pause the music there, Bryce?
Yeah.
Yeah, whenever I hear pencils down, it like shoots this anxiety from my childhood, you know, taking like the SAT or whatever, like, oh my God, I didn't finish the last 10 questions. C, you know, letter C on the last 10 bubbles is what I did. That was my move. Didn't work out for me. Anyway, okay, so we got the first question there. The second question, Bryce, I'm going to share my screen again.
Okay.
Second question here, momentum. Okay. Looking at your business right now, which areas of focus and progress are making you the most confident? Just what's happening in your business right now that's getting you the most excited? What things are beginning to go in motion? What things are we figuring out? What things are beginning to work for us? Where have we seen success? Where have we reduced expenses? Where have our team, how has our team gotten better? What have we done to get our team better? What have we done to find better people? Just right now, which areas of focus and progress are making you the most confident? Let's start it up, Bryce.
Okay.
If you forgot the question, we have it in the chat. Looking at your business right now, in this very moment today, which parts of our business are we getting the most momentum? What are we the most excited about? What's working? What's beginning to work? You know, what is working the best for us in terms of looking at our business right now?
Robert, do you see this as like asking where the fruit is? What's fruitful?
Yeah, I mean, just what's working? What are we most excited about?
Cool.
Where are we having progress? Where do we feel the best about our business? And it doesn't just spitball, we're just writing stuff down.
All right.
Okay, pencils down. Okay, so we got looking back over the past year, what are we the most proud of achieving? Looking at our business right now, what are the things in our business that are most excited about? Like Bryce said, where do we see fruit in our business that we could follow? Last question here is motivation. Looking ahead at the next quarter, over the next 90 days, what new things are giving us the greatest sense of excitement in our business? Looking ahead into the next quarter, what opportunities are giving us the most excitement in our business? What are we the most excited about achieving? What are the goals that we have? that are reachable? Looking over the next quarter, over the next 90 days, what is giving us the greatest sense of excitement in our business? It's a little bit of an open-ended question, but we intentionally want to leave it that way. So let's start now. Thinking about the next 90 days. And it could just be, if it helps you to think, just thinking about the next year, into this year. What are the things that we're most excited about? What are the things that are giving us the greatest sense of excitement? We got the thinking music there, Bryce. What is giving us the most excitement looking into this next year? Don't feel like it needs to be perfect. Oop. Time to wake up. Okay. So I'm going to stop sharing for a minute. Does anyone feel just a little bit more excited just from doing that exercise? Yeah, I'm getting a lot of thumbs up, a lot of head nods. Guys, this exercise, I got everyone in a gotcha moment. This exercise illustrates the point of exactly what my dad just shared. The way you look at something is how it becomes. Many of us now feel more excited, more hopeful, more feel like we may have more momentum just from taking this. Only took 10 minutes, and I asked you 3 questions. You know, this is something that you guys can do every week, every quarter, whenever you need to. Just ask yourself, we're not quite done yet. Can we get just a few people to go around and share something, maybe looking back at the past year, just one achievement that you guys are proud of. It could be big or small. Make sure to unmute your mic before you start talking. Is there anyone that can go around before I start calling on people?
I got something. No good.
We'll get to you next, Tyler. Yeah, Bobby.
So I went to the Philippines, and I left the company by itself I was gone for a week and a half. I was able to go to the Philippines and do a mission trip over there. And then the company ran by itself, and it took me a couple weeks to get back into the company. So it functioned without me. So that was great.
That's huge.
Yeah.
And was there a time in your business where you weren't able to do that?
Absolutely. The year before that.
Yeah.
And this was also your highest revenue year, correct?
That's right.
Bobby?
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
I'm guessing Nicole's your coach.
Yes, she is.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
Tyler, thanks for sharing, Bobby. Tyler, what do you got to say?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, this past year we bought a dump trailer for our business, and that's something I've been renting from Home Depot for the past 2 years. And so instead of seeing me dump money into their pockets, I finally got a trailer, and I have been charging charging my clients through the invoice for it. So I put an equipment charge on there for $200, and we haven't paid a dime ourselves. It's all been paid for through a client. So
That is awesome, dude. That is huge. That's awesome on multiple levels. You added value to your business, you reduce your expenses, and you immediately increase your profits because of that one purchasing decision. Way to go, Tyler. Seriously, that's awesome. Hawk, what do you got?
My service manager buying in. Huge.
Awesome.
I came in today and and she's working on a tech manual and she's trying to learn like on her own. She's just implementing stuff. She's got stuff printed up for the guys and huge. And I was debating on going away on a trip with all my buddies, and along with Robert said, it's in May and they're going to Ireland and they're going to play golf. And she's like, dude, you need to go. Like, she's like, I'll take care of everything.
That is
Boom.
awesome.
Yeah.
Love
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, that's the dream trip right there. An Irish golf trip? Are you kidding me? That's like a bucket list. Are you Irish, Hawk?
Pellegrino's my last name, but I'm 65% Irish, yes.
Okay. All righty.
Irish Italian.
That's good.
Fabio, what do you got?
It's funny we talking about this today. I was talking with my friends and my wife this week. Just thinking about everything that God did last year, you know, and a couple of things that we were more proud of it. Now we have more time for the family, and we grew about 90% last year.
Yeah. Wow. That's pretty good.
Awesome.
Yeah, I love how casually you said that. We grew about 90%. That's like huge, you know. Way to go, Fabio. Okay. Anyone else before moving on? We actually aren't quite done with the exercise. I'm going to have everyone take this convoluted data and I'm going to have us to make it actionable. And this is what I want you taking your coach. Before we move on, anyone else got to share biggest achievement from last year? Okay, let's go ahead and move on. So here's what we want to do now. I want us to, on this time, Bryce, if we could put 2 minutes and 30 seconds, because I want us to think about this real clearly. You know, what I want to do now is based upon all the data that we have from the morale, what we're most excited about from last year, to the momentum, what's giving us the most confidence right now, to the motivation, what are we most excited about in this next quarter? What are the greatest opportunities we have over this next year? What I want everyone here to do is, based upon that information, is I want you to write down real specifically what the biggest areas of improvement and focus you need to make over these next 90 days. And I want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things. So what we want to do is we want to take the information we just gathered. We just took time to think, you know, what did we do last year? What's going on right now? What's the most excited about in the future? We want to compile that data and come up with the 5 biggest areas. And we want to try to make it, we've heard of SMART goals, you know, specific, measurable, actionable, relatable, time sensitive. We want these to be SMART goals. Okay, we want it to be specific. Over the next 90 days, what are the 5 things that we are going to do, that we're going to work on, based upon what we're most excited about, based upon what we're most confident in, that will give us improvement and progress. So let's put 2:30 on the clock, and we can start the music whenever we're ready. There you go, buddy. top 5 things. What are we going to be doing over these next 90 days to take advantage of what we're already proud of doing, of what we're already confident is happening in our business, and what we're most excited about? Just a few more seconds left here. Look like most of us are wrapping up. All righty, time. Okay. Man, we're about out of time here. Does anyone want to share maybe a couple or one of their top 5 things? Just to maybe
I
get.
will. Mine is,
Yes.
it's just interesting that we're doing this today when yesterday on my coaching call, the first thing I brought up was my mindset hasn't been right in the last 6 months and I need to find a way to fix that. But
Wow. Things have a funny way of working out that way, I've found.
and that's my number one thing, I guess, is working on my mindset. I know, like I say, I've increased a lot since being with you guys, but nowhere near where I wanted to be. So it's basically now with some things I'm working on and looking to book, basically in the first quarter, what we did for business last year, hire an employee, so it would allow me to get out and do more selling, which will then increase the revenue for the company.
Yeah. That's great. And Gary, I would think about maybe some ways that you can help your mindset. Maybe that's listening to a podcast, of some kind. Maybe that's coming up with a daily mantra of some kind. Maybe it's spending time in meditation of some kind. I don't know what that would be for you, but whatever you notice that in the past is, or it could even be a movie or music or something, but whatever has begun to positively shift that mindset and the way that you're looking, I'd be curious into, okay, here's what I'm going to do, 3 days a week, 5 days a week, 7 days a week to help fix that mindset. Because the thing with the mindset is you can absolutely do it, but you've got to be really intentional. And the fact that you're aware of this right now and you put it down as one of your things is huge. Most people aren't even aware that they have a negative mindset. So the fact that you have awareness is a real gift. But I would think about coming up with a way every day to renew your mindset, into that new kind of picture that you want to see. I appreciate you sharing that, Gary. That's really big. Anyone else have a top 5 takeaway? Brandon, what about you, buddy? I've been seeing you smiling all hour.
Sure. I guess my first one is making all my meetings with you guys on my laser calls.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Brandon, I'm telling you, it's not just us asking you to show up because we want you to show up. I mean, of course we want you to show up, but you honoring that time will reward you. Roger has been a client of mine for 3 years. He's a plumber in your industry.
Okay.
And he not only shows up to his meeting on time every week, but he also comes prepared with notes. And that makes all of our meetings so productive and efficient. And Roger, every year that he's been with us, has seen significant growth every single year. is revenue and profit. So
Like that.
it just has a magic way of working, but I love that you said that, man.
That's first, yes.
Okay.
I guess my second thing is creating handbooks and scripts for employees.
Okay.
That's the second thing. So I guess everything get out of my head.
Yeah.
So we
And
can
that's
move forward.
And that's something I'm sure you may already know this, but we already have a lot of scripts already written. We have a handbook template that we've already made, so we can help make that process a lot easier for you. I think that's great.
Okay.
All right, guys. Well, I want to wrap it up here. Happy New Year to everyone. Does anyone have any last minute questions? I had my dad stay on with us here if anyone wants to ask him a question. Any last minute questions here?
I got one. Like each week when we do these and you guys got the slideshow thing, like the scripts in it, is there any way like we can get those after emailed to us, or do we just sit here and try to write them all down?
I mean, we want you to take notes, so we're not. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, it's great. It's great to take notes, but Gary, I have no problem of sending, or anyone else. If you want to put your email in the chat, I have no problem sending you these slides.
And that's probably something that we have that spreadsheet with the group call inventory with the links to YouTube. We could probably just start adding our spreadsheet links onto there as well for you guys.
Great idea.
Yeah, we can.
Bryce, can you get on that for me?
Yep, I got it.
I know maybe it would just help me look at them and
Excellent,
keep
Gary.
looking at them and keep your mind in
That see, you're a coachable guy. You're one of my favorite people because you're literally what we just talked about. You're like, I want to keep looking at something to help my mindset. So I love that, man. That's awesome. All right, guys. Any other questions before we wrap up here today?
I just want the handbook template and all the scripts you got.
Well,
Got it.
Yeah. Luckily, we can. And Gary, do you know how to put your email in the chat? I've got a few people I'm just going to share these slides with that are putting their email in the chat. Luckily, Hawk, we've got all that together for you.
I'll send you what we got, Hawk.
By the way, I was being sincere. Tony Soprano, The Sopranos is one of my favorite TV shows. I'm really hoping that didn't come across the wrong way.
Robert went through a phase where he would
Hawk, you're muted.
explain.
Sorry, Nicole, I didn't mean to cut you off.
You're
He
okay.
lives 20 minutes from where I live.
See,
Really?
I didn't
So
even
it
know
fits.
that. Oh my gosh, what were you saying, Nicole?
I would say there was a time where Robert went through this phase where when he would explain something to the team, he would use mob like boss metaphors and like, see, I'm the mob boss, and then you guys. So he's not lying when he says it's one of his favorite shows.
I don't know why, but Mafia Media, whether it's like TV shows or movies or whatever, has been like some of my favorite stories of all time. So anyway. All right, guys. Well, hey, we're going to go ahead and wrap up today. And like we end every meeting, we're going to do a growth on 3. What I'm going to do is count down 1, 2, 3. And then after I say 3, we're all going to collectively say growth. So if everyone can just get corny with me, get cheesy with me, turn your microphone on. Okay. 1, 2, 3, growth. Yeah. All right, guys. Have a great 2023. We'll see you at the top.
All right, there's Zig Ziglar.
You know, that's something actually my dad says. I was trying to get a reaction of him with me saying it.
But it's in one of his books, I think. I see at the top.
Yeah, I think it is. So,
All right, have a good one.
we'll see you, buddy.
All right, thanks.